What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Super Gamer Boys. I'm your host, Colonel and Dad, Garrett Morlang, and here in the virtual studio with me is the king of video games and resident power washer extraordinaire, Adrian Holmes. What's up, Adrian?
What's going on, man? It's good to be back. I took a little time last week. I had to go and well, I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. I went and watched the new Turtles movie, and it is phenomenal. It's fantastic. I cannot recommend it highly enough.
Oh, so you didn't just leave me hanging out high and dry, that like I told everyone.
No. Unfortunately, the rumors are untrue. This was very much planned in advance. Yeah, I don't know. When I try to talk to people, like, I don't know where to start with that movie because there's just so much you can start with, and none of it is bad. That's the hard part. Like, all I can say is go see it and then come talk to me, and then whatever you want to talk about, we'll just talk about it. Yeah. So we're having a fantastic animation year this year.
I gotta go see it. Now, how do you think it stacks up this year with I don't know, I'm just thinking
the easy comparison is Spider-Verse, and I would say that you are not wrong for thinking so. I think we have Spider-Verse to thank because they opened the door for a lot of companies to let studios start taking risks again and make their stuff look different so that everything doesn't have to look like a Disney movie.
Right.
And this is definitely one that walked through that door that Spider-Verse opened. I can definitely see the comparison being made, and like I said, whichever side you stand on, I can't be mad at you. In my camp, they're both fantastic. You can't lose either way.
Yeah, I was even curious, come award season, man, do you think this is contends, is this a contender against Spider-Verse? Do you think it's gonna be no, Spider-Verse?
I think it can be.
Nailed it.
Spider-Verse has a much larger reach though because it is Spider-Man, so that's probably what will give it the edge. But a lot of times the Academy doesn't really care about that. They care about, the quality or the pedigree of the movie. So it could be a much closer race with them than the general public. So we'll just have to wait and see. Like I said, whatever way we go, I'm fine with it. We also got a whole bunch of other hits this year. Guillermo del Toro brought out his Pinocchio movie. That was also amazing.
It's on Netflix, right?
Yep. The Nimona movie just came out based on that comic book. That one on Netflix. That one is also great. So we're having a fantastic animation year, dude. I'm couldn't be more pleased.
So good. That's awesome.
But this is a games podcast. But more importantly, how are you this evening, sir?
Oh, I'm doing pretty good. Yeah, hanging in there. Trying to think if anything's new. I mean, last week was fun. You know what? You missed out on an awesome guest. Had Caleb here, Kajoma01, and I told him, I was like, you gotta come back sometimes so you can have me on a show with Adrian, have the three of us. Yeah, it was a blast having him, and thanks, Caleb, for joining us, being willing to come on here kind of last minute, because Adrian told me that a couple weeks in advance, and then I dragged my feet, and then I was like, hey.
I asked you every week. I'm like, you got somebody coming in? You got somebody coming in? I'm not gonna be here.
Well, I reached out to Eddie, and then he went and he was like, I'm on some trip seeing friends or something. I'm like, screw friends. You don't need friends.
I gotta go do beard stuff. I gotta go do extra large beard stuff. That's what Eddie was doing.
Extra large beard stuff or beer stuff?
It could be either with him.
both. All of the above. But no, I'm glad. I'm glad that I had Caleb on, and now the world finally knows who this Kajoma01 is. He's always on our questions. He's always at the top.
He's on his way to the moon.
And he's streaming. All the links to his stuff are in the description. Make sure you go check it out. He streams over on Twitch, a lot of Magic the Gathering, and I think he's playing through Shadow of Mordor, one of those games, whatever the first one is. So that was a Lord of the Rings game. That they're actually kind of cool. So go check them out. But today we're going to be talking about how Metroid Prime 4 could come soon-ish. Jedi Survivor is coming to last-gen consoles, which is a whole thing. And Discord adds a cool new feature for Xbox. But first, let's give a quick shout out to our Patreon producers, Bumble Smash, Eddie Martin, and Kajoma01, and our Super Gamer sponsors, Julie Bates and Mama Mare. And we need to reach out to Bumble Smash at some point, have them on. Yeah. I've only chatted with them like once or twice. I think the last time
I know they're
talked
around.
with,
I see them pop up on Steam all the time.
Like,
okay.
Yeah. Oh yeah. They're always like, I always get the notifications on Steam like they're online playing, but I feel like I rarely see them in the Discord. And
So they ain't doing nothing. So all you gotta do is ask.
Yeah, I just need to reach out and be like, hey, another Patreon producer, come be on the show. That might be kind of neat. But if you want to be awesome just like those folks, head over to patreon.com/supergamerboys, where you can support us starting at just $1. That's right, $1, and you get episodes early and ad-free, such as this show, and now our Patreon exclusive show, Super Later Boys. That's right. It's kind of, think of it like a late night talk show, where it's just us, the three boys, getting together, and guest. I hope in the future we can have some guests and just chatting about anything and everything. You know, there's no agenda necessarily. Obviously,
the podcast
you guys
is also unrated. Just throwing that out there.
Yeah, I mean, we just let.
I'm not rated by the ESRB.
Letting JJ off a leash on this one, even more so than I did on this show. But episode 2 is. Yeah, episode 2 is up right now over on Patreon, and that'll be, like I said, the new episodes each and every month over there. And if you want to have topics, suggest topics for the show or questions that we kind of talk about, debate, whatnot, long form discussions. If you have like big ideas, small ideas, make sure to join us over at Discord as well. If you join us on Patreon, you can leave comments, on the post there. But supergamerboys.com/Discord, you can join us there, and we have a mailbag section. You can drop those right in there. The last free episode of Super Gamer Book Club is now up as well. Super Metroid, featuring the Nintendo Cartridge Society. Patrick and Mark joined us on that one. It's fantastic. That episode's performing very well over on YouTube, which is awesome. I'm excited. I feel like a lot of us, the book club stuff in general, did good on podcast, but on YouTube just always had a hard time getting traction. I think Kingdom Hearts did good too. It's like certain games will just like blow up.
That also means that the entire season is now up, right?
Yes, yeah. So the entire second season is available for free. First season, you still got to support us on Patreon, hosted by Zetch there. But yeah, Adrian's season now all up for free for you. So yeah, go check that out on YouTube and podcast apps. Hophead says Gamer Boys After Dark. Exactly.
Pretty much.
That's the gist of it. That's Super Later Boys is kind of like our instead of doing like everyone does blank After Dark, like that's just the song. Like, let's do something a little different. I think it was you, Adrian, who came up with Super Later Boys. I'm like, there we go. That's it. That's the gist of it. We'll talk more about our Patreon later on in the show. I want to address Hophead Ed in the chat saying Garrett streams Kingdom Hearts 2 when? Probably never. No, we'll see. Never say never,
good buddy.
Never say never. I know it's inevitable in season 3 of Super Gamer Book Club. You're gonna make me play number 2. Although I still have like 2 other games to play before.
I was gonna say you got plenty of time to knock them out in between. Look, I gave you all this extra time. We don't have to play games for book club. All right. You could be using that to work on your other Kingdom Hearts backlog. I'm just throwing that out there. You do have the entire.
But then that wouldn't make it a break, would it? That wouldn't make it a break, would it? If I'm still doing homework.
Well, you don't have to do anything.
Basically.
There's no timeline. Just play it at your leisure. But I'm just saying that you have the time for it. Well, what else? What's coming out? Starfield? Starfield? No.
No, man. I'm playing Baldur's Gate right now.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. Why would you play Baldur's Gate when you can play the greatness that is Kingdom Hearts? Huh?
Oh man. We'll see. We'll see.
What do you think is some kind of revolutionary D&D game? Huh? That has some of the most concurrent players ever on Steam? Yeah. Okay.
One of the hardest things with book club was exactly that, like beating, because a lot of times sometimes there was a few times we decided like a month or 2 in advance what the game was going to be, but there was a few months where it's like the first week and we're like, what game are we going to do? And we finally decide. It's like, very quickly I realized how little time I actually have to play video games in a month. It's like, for most people, oh yeah, you can knock this out in a week or 2. For me, it's like I'm barely squeaking it in the day before we're recording at the end of the month.
That's also why I aimed for the majority of them to be shorter games, like 10 hours or less.
which
I think maybe
appreciated very
3/4
much.
of the season was games that
Maybe
was
very
3/4
much.
of the season was games that was 10 hours or less.
Yeah, especially towards the end of the season, it started trending more that way. The beginning, I think it was bigger, and then it was like, okay, yeah, it started like getting
I think
more
what
and
Kingdom
more.
Hearts was an outlier, Chrono Trigger was an outlier, and then the rest of them were maybe 10 hours or less.
Yeah, very much appreciated. But that's enough about that. Go check it out, please. Listen to that. It's a fun episode. And if you show your love and support over there, then then obviously we'll keep making it. I mean, the plan right now, don't get me wrong. The plan right now is we're gonna come back with a season 3, but obviously the love and support is helpful not only for encouraging us to keep making it, but then also getting other people's eyes on it. So all the interaction is good interaction. I do want to give a huge shout out to DJ Trouser Schnauzer for allowing us to use his music here in the background that you hear. Typically,
Finally.
in the past, we've used some other artists, but we're like, you know what? DJ Trues is now on Apple Music, so we're gonna go back and forth, kind of switch it up every couple weeks. So yeah, check that out in the links in the show description for Apple Music and Spotify. Make sure to go show him some support. I think he has 3 albums up. They're very different and all very good. I like it. I mean, there's similarities, don't get me wrong, but it's like
my favorite is the chill one.
Yeah, Trues and Chill or something like DJ Trues and Chill. Very good. Very good. All right, it's now time to check the mail.
Oh, okay. Go ahead and boot Super Gamer Bot on up.
Okay, so last week we'd come up with the name Solid Gamer Bot, but I assume we're not getting. I don't know. Do you think AI is constantly changing and growing?
It's evolving.
Do you think okay.
Multiple personalities, Who
All right, booting up, and
Hello, gaming humans. Answer these questions or die.
Okay, we are apparently experiments now. We're test subjects here. So
we are now in Portal. So you may either witness our success or failure. We may die here on this show.
Right,
Let's see.
might not finish this podcast.
Oh my gosh. Okay, all right. Well, Super Gamer Bot, do you mind reading off that first question from Dan, please, then?
Let's settle the age-old question. Coke or Pepsi?
Okay, Dan writes in with Coke or Pepsi.
Oh boy,
man.
I mean, there's only one correct answer. It's Coke.
And that's Adrian.
You're
rarely wrong. You are rarely wrong, but in this instance, you are so wrong. It makes up for all the other times.
See, I was trying to get ahead of it, right? Because I remember you came in the the Discord recently about, wasn't there a certain flavor of Pepsi that just came out? Was it pineapple or something? Yeah, that was it. Pineapple Pepsi. Disgusting sounding.
Pineapple. I don't remember the pineapple. I must have missed that.
Was that you?
Or mango?
I thought that was you.
Maybe, I don't think it was me. Maybe
somebody.
I don't remember that. Either way, it's probably fantastic. Probably incredible.
Now pineapple Coke. Wait a minute. You might be onto something here.
Get out of here. No, Pepsi Twist. So the Pepsi with lemon. That's top tier Pepsi right there. That's my number 1. I don't even think they make it anymore, but it's number 1. Number 2 is Pepsi Vanilla. And number 3 is Cherry Pepsi.
Oh, what if there was a pineapple Coke and then you could put like vanilla ice cream in it and you got like a pina colada?
Oh, now we're on to something.
Yeah.
Now, do they have hard Pepsis and hard Cokes?
No, but you can always just put alcohol in it.
That's no fun though.
That is a Coke float, a pineapple pina colada Coke float with a little shot of something in there. I might be onto something. Coke, give me a call, dude.
Hophead Ed says Garrett had Peeps Pepsi. That was a live on air review though. That wasn't like I feel like you're right though, Adrian. There was someone posted something in the Discord and then it was
I swear pineapple Pepsi for some reason, but like I said,
yeah. I don't remember who or what flavor it was, but everyone's always in there ragging on me because I have good taste. Apparently, it's just what happens. Bad things. Bad things happen to good people, all the time. It's a shout out to Chizo over on YouTube. He says, "YouTube, you say?" Yes, that's right. We are live on YouTube and Twitch. We are dual streaming, baby. Pew, 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 pew. So there you go.
Reach.
There you go, Dan. It's 50-50 split right down the middle. And we are definitely not going to ask JJ about what flavor he likes. We're not asking anyone else, just between me and Adrian. It's 50-50
He
right
wouldn't
down
pick
the middle.
either. He'd pick Mountain Dew. I want the Mountain Dew because it keeps me up from a 14-hour day.
No. JJ would totally pick like Sam's Club or RC Cola or something. He'd be like,
I felt the answer coming up out of you.
He's like the off-brand, like, dude, RC Cola is the way to go.
Shasta Cola. He gets Shasta from the dollar store.
Oh man, growing up. Now look,
Shasta makes a mean Tiki Punch. The rest of it is garbage. Tiki Punch is awesome.
Okay. I haven't had much Shasta, I don't think, in my lifetime. I don't really. But I think I honestly, now that I think of it, I don't know if I remember seeing it though. It might just be a West Coast, because there are little differences between off brands and coast to coast. So I grew up in New York, obviously.
Shasta
so
was
very different
always
here.
at the dollar store.
Okay.
So if you never went to the dollar store a lot, then you probably didn't see it. But that was the one thing I always remember about them is they made a fantastic Tiki Punch.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I grew up in the middle of nowhere. We didn't have a dollar store. It wasn't a thing. that was the yard sale outside of the Amish's house. Like, I don't know. Like that's.
Chizo said in the chat, he said Shasta used to be 25 cents a can from the machine. Yes, it did. Back in the day. Oh, boy.
Those were the days.
Those were the days.
Grape all day, every day. And you are right about that, Chizo. That is 100% right. I'll drink grape soda all day, every day. That's like
agreed.
The best top tier soda, grape soda. I will fight anyone on that one. Or strawberry. Strawberry Fanta.
Depends on the brand.
Strawberry Fanta. Very good. Anytime I go to Popeyes. Popeyes, gotta get that strawberry Fanta. So good. All right, what do you say we move on to this next question? This one comes from Sweats. Super Gamerbot, do you mind reading that off for us?
Which franchise would make a good crossover planet in the Star Wars universe?
Okay, which planet would make a great crossover planet? Is that what it was? Crossover in the Star Wars universe?
Like, okay. If someone in the Star Wars universe went to another planet, what franchise would that planet be inhabited by?
Okay.
That would make a good crossover.
I see here, Sweats, he had written, I want Clone Wars Anakin to discover Dune's worlds. Like from the movie Dune, or the book.
Look, everybody already knows you're going to say Warhammer, so just go ahead and throw it in there.
I would love to see a Space Marine fight a Jedi. Because I think a Space Marine could hold his own against a lightsaber. I mean, that's the whole thing with their armor is supposed to be like impenetrable from any and all weapons across the galaxy. Like borderline, like other than just like getting hit with a nuclear bomb, like they can basically survive. And even then, I think they can survive a nuclear blast as long as they're not hit directly with the bomb. Like it's.
Well, that's the weird thing though, right? Is with lightsabers, the only thing that's supposed to be able to repel them is another. Well, I guess not just lightsaber, but anything that can vibrate on that frequency, that light frequency. So are we in like a immovable force, unstoppable object situation?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I'm sure there's weak spots in the armor because they're not all 100% armored. There's like dead joints and stuff like that. So there's like spots where if the Jedi is quick enough, which they are, I mean, they're very fast and nimble. Jedi could take down a Space Marine if they're careful, but at the same time, like their bolter guns that they use, like the shells are like 4 inches in diameter. Like imagine a bullet. Geez. A bullet this big coming at you. Like it's not a missile, it's like a bullet from a gun that's just this big, like tear you in half.
Now that's true. That would be true for most Jedi, but the top ranking ones, they might be able to catch them. And then what happens?
Then you're in trouble.
Then you're in
a lot of
trouble. Because I'm flinging it right back at you.
Sulkies is in the chat. And he says,
this is a good question.
Sulky says Space Marines would destroy them. Wouldn't even be close. Accurate, strong, sturdy armor, tactical training. And Chizo says, Sulkies, this MF for spitting.
Wow.
So Chizo's with Sulkies on that one. Hophead Ed says Lando, Han, and Chewie going to nowhere in Guardians of the Galaxy would be cool.
Yeah.
That would be really cool. Just Guardians of the Galaxy is dropping. Chris Pratt chilling. And Han and Chewie is like, what the heck? They shoot him.
Are you me? No. Are you me?
What about you? What would you like? What's the crossover you would enjoy seeing in the Star Wars universe?
I mean, he did say franchise, so it could be anything. I'm going to say, I think Star Fox would be pretty cool.
Ooh, they just swoop in like the trench run and the Death Star. They're just like helping them out alongside the X-Wing fighters.
You know how like they had that scene in the prequels with like Coruscant, where it was like it was a bustling city and everything was happening. You could just do that with Corneria, and then somehow they go and meet up with General Pepper, and then they get tossed into this whole big conflict, and they're going on their way. I don't know who I would want to be in it though.
Chizo asked Star Fox Adventures or regular Star Fox?
Regular Star Fox. No disrespect to Adventures though. It's an underrated game.
Okay. Selkie says Hando. I assume it means it's shorthand for Lando and Han. Meeting Star-Lord would be insane. Too much funny. That would be kind of funny actually. I just because like Han Solo. I mean, because Han Solo basically is just Harrison Ford. Like he just plays himself for the most part. So it's just like this grumpy, irritated man.
Which is so weird that he hated playing that role so much. It's the least amount of effort to make the most amount of money.
Sulky says, no, Hando, the leader of the Thieves. See, I don't know what that is. Do you know who Hando is? Leader of the Thieves? And
Hando? Hondo. Okay.
Hondo.
Yeah, I know Hondo. He was in Rebels.
Okay. See, I didn't watch those. I didn't know that. I just assumed it was shorthand for Han and Lando. I was like, oh, they were friends. Kind of. Not really.
He's also at Disneyland. I have yet to go to Galaxy's Edge, but he's in the Millennium Falcon ride, I think.
Okay. Who is this Han? Now I need to look it up.
You should just watch Rebels, honestly.
Hondo. When I Google Hondo, it just comes up as a restaurant in Houston that does sushi hand rolls. So there's that.
Do Hondo Star Wars.
Oh, this dude. I
can't remember his last name's like Onaga or Onaka, one of the two.
Hondo Onaka.
Yeah.
Okay, he's a pirate. Interesting. What is he in?
You can't trust him.
He's just Rebels? Because all the pictures of him are live action.
Well, he's been in live action stuff too. He was in Mando, I think.
Interesting. Very interesting. According to the wiki, he's only been in the Clone Wars show. That's it. Yeah, and Star Wars Battlefront 2 and a painting. Yeah, interesting. I don't know. That seems wrong.
I'm pretty sure he was in Rebels. I remember him being in Rebels.
Yeah. Huh, interesting. Maybe I should actually watch some Star Wars content for once. That would be cool. Yeah. I just watched the movies. The movies are great. All 6 of them. I
agree.
Let's see. Let's move on to Eddie says he's 100% Rebels. That's so interesting because
okay, thank you. I knew I wasn't crazy, Eddie. Appreciate it.
You're not crazy. We got one more question, I believe.
Hit it.
I am reading these notes correctly. So, Super Gamerbot, can you hit us one more time?
Name and design the Super Gamer Boys exclusive Mountain Dew flavor.
I love how soda-centric these questions are. All right, so we got to come up with our Super Gamer Boys Mountain Dew flavor.
Okay.
So can we just take Baja Blast? Can that be our thing?
No, we got to do better than that. Ours has to be what?
Selkie says Peepsy. Next question.
Peepsy. I will walk if our flavor is anything close to Peepsy. Don't do that. Don't do that.
Peep flavored Mountain Dew, baby. Whoa.
Now, Chizo said in the chat, he said Gamer Blast. See, now I'm of two minds, right? I'm thinking either Super Gamer Blast or Super Flavor Boys. One of the two.
Pepsi Plus. What is? He says Pepsi Plus. I love that. Solid snake flavor. It tastes like an ashtray. These are great, guys. Keep it coming in the chat. Keep it coming. This is great.
Or we can do a Halloween one.
Super Flavor Boys sounds like something very different, Chiso says. Yeah, maybe not Super Flavor Boys.
Maybe that's our seasoning line.
That's our collaboration with Guy Fieri.
See, that's what I'm saying. We do a seasoning collection with Guy Fieri, and that's what we'll call it, Super Flavor Boys. Yo, put that one in the tank, just in case we ever get famous. We can come back to this.
I really like Super Gamer Blast. I mean, our colors are purple and then like a lighter blue color. So it either has to be like a berry flavor or like a grape flavor, something like that.
I think we should go with purple then, because I feel like there's already too many blue Mountain Dews.
I mean, there's just the one, right? Baja Blast, pretty much.
No, there's a Cold Blue.
Oh, okay, yeah, I think I know. I don't shop Mountain Dew very often, but I think I do remember what you're talking about.
I just know that there's regular, and I know that there's Code Red, and I know that there's Code Blue. And Baja Blast. I
mean, I'm not against a grape one. I mean, Pitch Black was always my favorite, and that's basically grape. So like a variation. If it was like, so if we could just steal Pitch Black and relabel it as Super Gamer Blast, that would be
has
great.
A good one. He said Super Gamer Dew. Okay. Blue Raspberry Citrus. I don't hate this.
Oh, I like that. I don't like the name. That makes it sound like it's like our sweat. We're just bottling our sweat up. Man, our soup. That's what I'm going to start.
I mean, let's not kid ourselves. We probably are some sweaty gentlemen. Okay.
When I'm outside doing my yard work and I'm sweating, I'm like, whew, got some Super Gamer Dew going.
That's the commercial. You wipe your forehead like this, and when you fling your hand, it goes right into the Mountain Dew bottle.
It's like turns blue and falls in the bottle.
We're done. There we go. Marketed.
Super Gamer Dew. Super Gamer Goo. Nope, don't like that one. That one's not okay.
Well, JJ would like that one.
Super yeah, they'd like that one too much. It's mystery flavor and it's white like Airheads. I think. I'm pretty sure
that's if JJ designed it.
I'm pretty sure Mountain Dew had a white one though. What was it?
They definitely did, because I remember seeing it. It's probably like some snow or Arctic or whatever.
Here it is, Whiteout.
Whiteout, same difference.
I don't remember what it was. A citrus.
What a great question this was.
I love it. I like that. So yeah, Super Gamer Dew, and I 100% think that Blue Raspberry Citrus sounds amazing.
Yeah, I'm game.
Okay, so all royalties go to Selkies.
We also need to keep that Super Flavor Boys. I'm telling you, I feel
Super Flavor Boys.
Yeah,
our guy Fury seasoning line.
Yep.
When we're big time, and we're big social media, video game influencers, we're gonna team up with Guy Fieri and do an episode of Diner Drive-ins and Dives with him, and debut our new our seasoning line.
Yep.
Oh man, so good. All right. Well, I think that's it for the questions this week. That was fantastic. Good. This was a good week of questions. If you want another good week of questions next week, make sure to write in over at supergamerboys.com/discord, right over in the submit mailbag channel that we have over there, or just reach out to us on social media. You can DM us pretty much anywhere. Drop some questions and I'll add them to the old show notes. All right. Let's move on to the nerdy nudes.
It's now time for the nerdy nudes.
Absolutely beautiful. All right. I forgot. I need to switch over to the other overlay.
Look at all these
the news
upgrades
story.
we've been getting, man.
Look at that. It's almost like we're
we're
professionals over here.
you know
or
what I
something.
mean? Trying to scale it up a little bit, trying to jazz it up.
Trying to. We're doing our best. This first news story comes from IGN. It loaded the page funny, so it didn't say IGN at the top of the page, and I was like frantically looking for a logo. I'm like, who is this from? It's from IGN. This one's written by Wesley Yinpool. Nintendo still has Metroid Prime 4 down as a Switch game. Nintendo has outlined upcoming Nintendo Switch exclusives, and it still lists the long-absent Metroid Prime 4 as a Switch game. As part of its latest financial report, Nintendo listed all the upcoming and announced games coming to the Nintendo Switch. Notably, the list includes Metroid Prime 4, which still carries a temporary title and to-be-announced release date. Here's a list in full. Detective Pikachu Returns, coming October 6th. Super Mario Bros. Wonder, October 20th. WarioWare Move It, November 3rd. Man, this is going to be such a good fall for my Switch.
Wait.
Super Mario RPG, coming November 17th. Luigi's Mansion Dark Moon, coming 2024. Princess Peach will star as a main character in a brand new game, 2024. Metroid Prime 4, to be announced. Metroid Prime 4 has suffered a tumultuous development since it was announced 6 years ago in 2017. Development was restarted in 2019 with the help of Retro Studios, a developer of the original Metroid Prime games. At the time, Nintendo said it took the decision because the fourth entry has not reached the standards we seek in a sequel to the Metroid Prime series. While not confirmed by Nintendo, Eurogamer reported Metroid Prime 4 was being developed by Bandai Namco Studios Singapore. Nintendo has been silent on Metroid Prime 4 ever since, leading some to speculate the game was either in development hell or had Switch focus to launch on the Switch's next-gen successor, rumored to launch late in 2024. Metroid Prime 4 failed to show up during June's Nintendo Direct, but given Nintendo itself still lists the game as a Switch title, perhaps the company plans to reveal it later in 2023 as its final Nintendo Switch game and a next-gen console launch title, much like Breath of the Wild was the last Wii U game for Nintendo, as well as a Switch launch title. I didn't read that last bit before the show, and I think that makes a lot of sense. I think they're onto something with it being a crossover title.
Absolutely.
Metroid.
100%.
So I know historically, Metroid apparently doesn't do good sales-wise for whatever reason. Like, that's what they always say. I always hear. But I don't know. Like, I think with like Metroid Dread being a much more approachable Metroid game that came out and was incredible on the Switch, getting the Prime remaster, like there's definitely a renaissance right now with Prime, and I could totally see them being like, hey, you loved Dread, you love Prime remaster. Well, tune into Prime. You haven't played 2 or 3 yet, but here's number 4. Coming. That's my only hang up with it being anytime soon. It seems wild for them to give you number 1 and then jump to like number 4 and not give you anything in between there. But I don't know. Do you, Adrian, you're the expert here. Do you actually think this is coming out on Switch? Like, or is this just them? Is this wishful thinking on their part?
My reading on it is because we haven't seen anything of it in so long, and it's listed as TBA at this point. Like, if they were really adamant about this coming out, I think they would have at least put 2024 so they can get it out before the next hardware comes out. That's what makes me think maybe we'll get like a direct. I don't know. Let's put it like this, right? They normally have directs in September, as well as like February, and other times throughout the year. If we get another general direct, which is normally like the last big direct for the year, and we don't hear anything about Metroid Prime 4, not even like concept art or development is still going smoothly for Metroid Prime on Nintendo Switch, then at that point I would consider it a next gen game. I would consider it a launch game, or like you said, a cross gen. In my book at this point, if I'm running the show, because it's already so late at this point, I would hold it back, have it be a launch game for the new hardware, and have it be a crossover game. Basically, I would Twilight Princess it, right? I would have it for both. So I there's no situation right now where if we haven't heard anything in the last 6 years and we haven't seen anything, hide nor hair of it, concept art, trailers, anything. I don't know where they're getting this idea that it's going to continue to be a Switch only game when we're so close to new hardware. So
yeah, I mean, yeah, I think you're right that if we don't hear anything basically by the end of this year, like either in a direct or even I could also see it because it's such a hype game being like a Game Awards type thing. You know, Jeff Keighley has shown it off like like in December, buzzer beater, you know, jumping in there and showing like people would lose their minds. Cause I think, yeah, like, cause we are going to get at least one more direct probably by the end of the year. And if it's not there, I think a lot of people could lose hope. And like, imagine showing up at game, like everyone's lost hope. Everyone's like, oh, it's done for. And then all of a sudden, like Jeff Keighley comes out and he's like, haha, you've all been waiting for it. Here's Metroid Prime 4.
I think they play it that way either way though, right? Because even if you do it in December, it's not going to release in December. It'll probably release in whatever time frame the
March,
new Switch comes
April,
out. Yeah,
something like that, or even later. Yeah, if it's coming out alongside the Switch, you're right. Probably more.
I don't think that they're wrong in saying that this is a Nintendo Switch title still, because it definitely will be. Yeah. I think the error is not considering it a cross-gen title, because it's just a bad business move when you have hardware coming out, when you can have a marquee title like this to not launch on it. Mm-hmm. Because also it'll suffer in sales too, because people aren't going to be buying this game in anticipation of, well, I got to save up, I got to get the new hardware, I got to, you know, I can't buy X, Y, and Z game anymore. So that also hurts your software sales now. It's a whole can of worms if you do it that way. But if you put it on both, people will still get it. So
real quick, I'm supposed to ask you, Chizo from the chat. He asked a very important question. Adrian, why is Zero Mission and Super Metroid your favorite Metroid games?
Zero Mission, I don't necessarily consider my favorite. Super Metroid, absolutely. Super Metroid, there's a long list of reasons I consider that game a masterpiece. It also holds a lot of sentimental value in for me. I am definitely realistic, and I have no problem saying that Metroid Dread is definitely the best Metroid game in the series.
Yeah, Metroid, that's the correct term.
Yeah, by far. But Super Metroid is my favorite game. I like. We even did a Super Gamer Book Club, of course. You already know that, about the Super Nintendo Holy Trinity of all games that I consider masterpieces, which is Super Metroid, Super Mario World, and Legend of Zelda: Link to the Past. I don't know. I just think that game perfects the exploration and isolation that Metroid is known for. The soundtrack is phenomenal. The sound effects, a lot of things that we take for granted. You know, that game kind of almost solidified the, I don't really care for the term, but the Metroidvania kind of games. This is like the blueprint for that. So a lot of games that we play nowadays, even to this day, have a lot to owe that game, and a lot of those games from back then. But yeah, that's why it's my favorite game of all time. I don't know. I could go on for a long time, but if you really want like the deep down thoughts, like I said, the book club just came out, so you can also check that out too. I know it kind of sounds weird, like us hawking our stuff, but like, I mean, that's where I just get to go crazy talking about it. So
go do it. Also, Chizo's response is, Adrian's a real one, for real, for real. Holy shit! Never wanted to take a man out to dinner more than this moment. So
if you ever up here in the Bay, hit me up.
No, Adrian, you got to come back down here, and then both of us can go up and hang out with Chizo, man.
I'm not opposed to that either.
That's how it's got to go. You got to come back down here. Yes, I think it only makes sense for this to be a crossover title, and I guess it also comes down to like, how much do we believe those rumors about the new Switch console? You know, like, is that
it's too
something
much smoke.
that we're...
It's too much smoke. for it to be nothing.
Yeah. I mean, it just happening that soon, because it just like I know what what was that, like a month or two ago, we did an article where Nintendo came out and said like no plans, like we don't have any plans for a new console. Like they're just
this year they said they don't have any plans for 2023. They never said anything about 2024.
Yeah, that's true.
Also,
that's
I feel like if we don't hear anything at this point, this will probably be the longest gap between consoles Nintendo's ever had, which is a little crazy.
Yeah. So it makes sense. Like it's not. It makes sense for something to come out next year. It just
It all adds up. And I that VGC report that came out, what was it, last week? I 100% believe that there are studios that have dev kits. There's no way they don't.
I mean, if it's coming out next year, they have to.
Right. Yeah. But even if it's not coming out this year, you still want to give dev kits so that people can like dial stuff in and nail it in and making sure that it's running the best that it can, so you can show off the hardware in its best capacity, right? So your biggest and best, most trusted studios get the dev kits the most early. So I 100% believe that,
like Retro
for sure has one. What's the studio that it just left my mind that did Dread in Spain?
I know you're talking about. I can't get into what they're called either, but
also real talk, like since we're on Metroid, they since they've done Dread, I would 100%. You got it.
Mercury Steam,
thank you. Since Dread has come out, and it is also, I also consider that a masterpiece, I would have 100% faith in them doing a Super Metroid remake. I don't think that's what they're gonna do, because they left Dread in a cliffhanger, but if anybody was to do a Super Metroid remake, I would 100% pick them. I would be totally fine with them doing it. So
wow. Super Metroid remake. So you think like a similar to like a Dread art style, basically, you're talking?
It doesn't have to be a Dread art style. I mean, it could be that engine, Okay. They're definitely going to put it in 3D. But yeah, based on their work that they've done with Dread, if for some reason Nintendo wanted to do it, since they're on a roll remaking stuff lately.
If they did it in like the 2.5D style, so it's still 2D, but like
where
the 3D background and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Like a
it feels and runs like Dread
Traveler kind of thing. Mm-hmm. Oh man, that would be really cool.
I'm all for it.
That would be awesome. Like it's basically the same game, just like with the updated 2.5D style. That'd be killer. It'd just be fun. Like it would I don't know. Yeah, it wouldn't necessarily change anything, but it would just look so good.
Eddie in the chat said, I don't know if I'd want a Super Metroid remake. I don't know if I want one either, but I'm just saying, in the eventuality that it does get made, I trust Mercury Steam the most to do a good job on it, based on their track record with not only the Metroid Dread, but the one they did on Return of Samus. The remake of that one for 3DS was also very good. So
they did that as well.
They've proven their worth.
Okay. Dang. Sweet. Cool. You got anything else to add then to this Metroid Prime news?
We went forever on it. We can move on.
Yeah. I mean, I do just want to say, I'm so excited for WarioWare Move It. That game's gonna be so good.
I can't wait.
Just a couple more months and we get to move it, baby.
Oh man.
It better have multiplayer.
It is.
That was the issue with the other WarioWare that came out like a couple years ago, is it only had local multiplayer, right? It didn't have online stuff, because we tried to stream it one time and we're like, oh, we can't. It doesn't have online multiplayer.
That's right.
So this better have online multiplayer so we can play some wacky mini games on stream together.
I want to play that one where you're like having to shake up the soda so bad. The one where you like have to take your controller and shake like this to shake up that one looks so fun. I can't wait.
Jesus says rollback netcode. Yes, 100%.
WarioWare.
All right, let's get into this next news story. Star Wars Jedi Survivor is coming to PS4 and Xbox One. This Jedi Survivor is getting a last-gen edition, because that makes sense. This comes from Eddie McCooch over at GameSpot. Star Wars Jedi Survivor is headed to more platforms. During publisher Electronic Arts earnings briefing, the company announced that developer Respawn is now in the early stages of bringing the Star Wars game to the PlayStation 4 and Xbox One. Jedi Survivor launched at the end of April last year for PC, PlayStation 5, and Xbox Series X and S. The game enjoyed generally favorable reviews, but the PC version left something to be desired in terms of performance. EA released multiple patches to address the issues over time. The announcement from Respawn and EA today about bringing Jedi Survivor to older consoles probably came as a surprise to some, or everyone. In February, game director Stig Asmussen told Play Magazine that Respawn was skipping PS4 and Xbox One so the company could take full advantage of the superior processors and memory of the PS5 and Xbox Series X and S compared to the PS4 and Xbox One. Asmussen
revealed that was a lie.
Asmussen said Respawn was hoping to achieve a true new gen experience with Jedi Survivor. Respawn did not say when Jedi Survivor might launch on PS4 and Xbox One or provide any further details on how this version of the game might be different from the PS5 and Xbox Series X and S edition. Jedi Survivor was not the first current gen only game from EA, as the company launched EA Sports PGA Tour only on PS5 and Xbox Series X and S earlier in April. Yeah, there's not much more to the article, but the main thing here is basically EA Respawn lied. They came out and said, hey, this game, we're only bringing it to next-gen consoles because that's the only thing that can handle it. And then it came out, and even they had a hard time handling it. PCs were not running well. And now they're having this wild, just, I don't know what, like daydream that is like, oh yeah, we can totally get this to work on old consoles. It barely worked on PC, but we're going to get it working on PS4 somehow.
We're going to put it on the base VCR Xbox One.
I do not understand. Like, I mean, on one hand, it's like, okay, obviously they just want to get to more people. They want more people to be able to play it, but I don't.
At what cost?
At what cost? Yeah, like what features in like it's gonna look like Roblox by the time that you get it like dialed. It's gonna look like freaking Minecraft over there, like trying to play Jedi Survivor, and you have this little block man. Like
why would you intentionally release an inferior version of your game? Like people know what it looks like on the new consoles. If I know that and I get a PS4 version, I'm gonna be upset. I know it looks worse. I know it plays worse. I know it loads worse. I know you're gonna have to cut effects back so it'll fit on this console. Who are they marketing this to?
I love Eddie in the chat says, you'll have time to balance your checkbook and make a pot of coffee with those load times. So true. The original Jedi Fallen Order.
That's why I stopped playing it.
I raged quit on PS4 because it took too long to load. I'm like, I'm done. Like, I cannot handle this. I'm out. And I did. I pieced out until I played it on PC later with an SSD that loaded in like 10 seconds instead of 5 minutes. I can imagine the new one load times. You're 100% right, Eddie.
God,
like that's
on
gonna be
hard disks, those 5400 RPM. No.
Selkies coming to Samsung Smart Fridge 2024. Eddie says coming to Sega Dreamcast. Chizo coming to T-Mobile Sidekick.
Hold on, a D-make, a Dreamcast D-make now might be awesome.
If it's like an actual well-made like D-make, 100%. Like
that might actually be cool.
Like very intentionally choose like they're
like the 2001 era, not quite N64 polygonal but still polygonal. That might actually be pretty cool. You know what?
I'd be down for that.
But not intentionally doing it for last gen hardware like Respawn. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know what the move is behind this. Maybe Survivor didn't sell as well as they thought it was going to.
Maybe. I guess I don't know. I didn't really look into sales much. I guess I could look that up right now. But that's the only thing I can think of is maybe they're hurting on sales. Because I mean, there's obviously a lot less PS5 and Xbox Series S and X's in the wild. That's for sure. But I can't imagine it'd be bad, like that bad to where they're like, hey, we need to remake it for inferior software. But I mean, it was number 1 on sales for like a couple months, right? Like that's what this news story here says, something about that. Last week, number 1, Dead Island 2 slipped to number 2 in the box charts because Jedi Fallen or Survivor took over. So I don't know. Like it seemed like it did well enough, but I mean, we all know EA. They're greedy. They're never happy. They're never happy. Yeah, I don't know. The only thing I can think of is, they want more money, and they lied to us about it only being compatible. Like, I don't know. Yeah, but I guess that's the most frustrating thing about the whole story is the fact that like they made such a big stink about it's only coming to the consoles because we are taking full advantage of all the features that are on these consoles. And it's like either they lied to us there, or like you said, they're taking all those features out, and it's gonna suck to play on PS4 and Xbox One. Like it's gonna be so bad.
Also, if they do this, are they gonna put the third one on there too?
I hope not.
Because
that would be...
if you already back compat this one, people are gonna be expecting, well, how come the third one didn't come to? Remember how much of a hissy fit people had when the Horizon DLC didn't come to PS4? It's gonna be that all over again.
Yeah, no, not gonna be ideal. Boy, yeah, EA, you're done messing up over there. I don't know what you're thinking.
I don't think this is gonna pan out the way they think it is.
No, not at all. It's
just
also
we need to let those last gen consoles go. We need to let them go. It's been 3 years.
Yeah, at this point. I mean, at this point in like from PS3 to PS4, things were pretty much phased out, right?
Yeah.
Like within 3 years, or like the only things coming out on the old consoles were like sports games, like crappy versions of the sports games. Like there weren't big AAA titles coming out on old consoles at this point. So
most times you could sell the console you have for at least a third of the cost of the new console. And I feel like 3 years, unless you're really like deep down in the trenches, you can put away $10, $20 a check, and you would have had enough by now. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah. No, yeah. I mean, they are still hard to find, unfortunately, but not impossible, Yeah, so even like numbers wise, like people still should be able to find them, and I don't know. It's the Wild West out there, Adrian. People are just doing whatever the heck they want out there. COVID happens. Everyone thinks they can do whatever they want.
I mean, we could for a little bit. For a little bit, it was nice. You mean I have to stay home? I already wanted to stay home, but now I have to? Say no more. I wasn't going anywhere anyway.
I won't fight you. All right. Well, this last news story comes to us from IGN again. Taylor Lyles over there writes, Discord will soon allow you to stream Xbox games directly on its platform. That's right. Discord announced today that it will soon allow Xbox owners to stream their games directly onto its platform, a feature that was previously exclusive to PC and mobile users. In a press release today, the company confirmed that it will allow Xbox players the feature to stream their Xbox Series X and S or Xbox One games directly through Discord. This new feature, like on PC and mobile, will enable users to stream gameplay of their Xbox games with their friends, whether it is in a private DM, a group DM, or an entire Discord server. Those with a subscription to Discord Nitro can stream their Xbox games on Discord at up to 1080p resolution and increased frame rates. Discord notes in the press release that this feature has been widely requested among its users and teases that it and Xbox have more news to share later this year. This announcement comes over a year after Discord announced that it was adding voice chat integration to Xbox Series X and S and Xbox One consoles. Outside of its partnership with Xbox earlier this year, Discord announced its voice chat is now available on PS5 as well. Xbox streaming to Discord is available first for members of the Xbox Insider program, with broader availability coming soon. This is awesome. I mean, I haven't had an Xbox console in a long time, since Xbox 360. I know on like PS4 and now on PS5, we have the ability to stream to Twitch. Has Xbox ever had a functionality like that where you can stream directly to Twitch from console?
Yeah.
Okay, so it's been a thing on
Xbox
okay.
too.
Okay, I wasn't sure if that was a thing because I know on PS5 like it's been a thing, at least to Twitch, for a long time. But this is really cool, just to Discord, because I know there's quite a few people. I mean, like Caleb, our guest last week, Kajoma01, he streams to his Discord a lot. Like he streams on Twitch as well, but if you're part of his Discord, there's a lot of times he'll just do like a little private stream with just the people who are part of his Discord, and it's knowing that like, oh, you can do this even easier if you own an Xbox. Like, okay, you don't have to jump on your PC and fire up all your gear and all this stuff. Like, no, you can just chill on the couch and throw your headset on and just play with your friends. They can watch you play, hang out. They can play with you. Like that just, it makes sense. It makes sense. And I wonder if down the road this could come to PlayStation. Like it seems like PlayStation's late on these things, and it's not that they don't get it; they're just late. Like same thing with the voice thing.
I mean, it's definitely coming. They dumped a whole lot of money into Discord. Remember?
That's true. I always forget about that. PlayStation did invest a lot into Discord there. So hopefully, yeah, that means it's coming. But yeah, I think this is great. I just giving people more avenues to stream from console, because that's the other thing is like, unless for a lot of people it's like, okay, it's hard to stream and connect with, share your gameplay if you don't have a big old PC that either can play those games or has a capture card, which again is also expensive to have a capture card. So now like allowing console players, like, oh, anyone can stream to Twitch, anyone can stream to Discord, you can stream wherever, you can chat with your Discord friends. Like it just, I don't know, makes a lot of sense. It's super cool. I just love that change. Like I remember for years we were talking about like when, crossplay was a big thing. Now crossplay is regular. That's normal. Like everyone kind of does it for the most part.
It's kind of weird that it's not like a
for the most part
standard at this point.
Yeah. But it is neat to like, okay, this is the next iteration of that now. Like, all right, now we're getting, not only can you play with your friends on PC and other consoles, but now we can chat together in Discord, and okay, now you can stream together in Discord, and it's really cool. I'm happy they're doing it. Maybe we need to start doing that. Maybe we can hype up our Discord to start streaming games to Discord and just hanging out in there.
I'm game.
Get people to start chilling over there.
Especially if some certain I gotta figure out how to make that work. No, I can make that work. Sorry, I'm thinking internally for plans.
Okay. Adrian's got some plans. Stay tuned. Apparently, I don't know what plans he's talking about, but
I'll tell you after the show.
I'm game. Jesus says, can they make Discord a better app on those consoles first? Yeah,
they just got there.
That is the wildest thing. Is like, I haven't used it on Xbox, but at least on PlayStation, it's like, okay, you click a button on the console, and then you have to click a button on the app on your phone, and like you have to it's like a multi-step thing. It'd be nice to just be able to just bring up Discord on your PlayStation, like boom, there it is.
That's even newer because the last time I saw it, the way that it worked is you have to start the call on your phone, and then you go on the PlayStation and say, transfer my call over to the PlayStation. It does not work like that now. Does it work normally?
I think you might be right. I think I've only used it once, so I don't know. I'm not the expert. I'm the wrong person to ask, but I just remember it was more steps than I would have liked to do. Like I should just be able to jump into a call. Jesus says on Xbox it's more functional. He also says, bro, they just got here is not an answer. Is not the answer.
Fair. That's true. That's
true. It's true.
Now, wait a minute. Can I also take this time, since we are talking about Discord, to also shoot a stray at Nintendo, who for some reason has not adopted any form of voice chat. There's no chat at all. You can't. I was gonna say, you know what? I'm gonna be upset. If the next console doesn't have some form of a microphone and a voice chat in it,
just instant messaging. Let me DM people,
or just messages, an inbox, something. I'm gonna throw a fit. You heard people cry about me specifically. I'm people for 7 years. Not even Discord integration. I have to use a dumb app. What if I'm a kid? I don't have a phone, but I still want to play Splatoon with my friends. I don't know. It was a stupid idea.
I think that's the thing nowadays, though, is like most kids nowadays do have phones, which is wild because I didn't have a phone till after I graduated high school. Meanwhile, there's like 4-year-olds out there, kids younger than my kids who have phones. My kids do not have phones, to be clear. But I've seen other kids. I'm like, this kid's like 4 or 5. Why does he have a phone? Why does he have an Apple Watch? Like I didn't have a phone until I was like, I was graduating high school and going into college. I finally could get a phone.
Chizo said in the chat, he said because it's a Japanese company that makes games for Japanese people. Japanese people don't like talking to each other?
They hate it. They absolutely hate it. If they could just go the rest of their lives without ever communicating with anyone, that they would. Trust me. I know that as a fact. I'm an expert. So
he said it's to utilize heavy phone use that the Japanese people are already doing. So, but Japanese people use Discord too. So why not integrate Discord into the Switch?
Yeah. I don't know. My only input on this is, again, coming from things that other people have said, because I've never been to Japan, nor do I really know the culture that well. What I said previously was a joke. If it wasn't, if the sarcasm was not clear. But I watch a few YouTube videos, channels that are about, life in Japan, stuff like that, travel stuff or whatever. And there's this one guy, and he was talking about, he's like, they're like, so like in so many ways technologically they're so far ahead, like it's wild, like they have crazy stuff. But then like you go to like websites for businesses and companies, or to buy a ticket for something like just a train or something like that, and it's like you're jumping on like 1999 like Internet Explorer, like what was that other one, Netgear or whatever it was called, not Netgear but Netscape. Like that's the style of websites you're getting over there. For whatever reason, their online infrastructure is just archaic. They have not updated it, and they just have no desire to, for whatever reason. Like he was in a video, he was talking about trying to buy a freaking train ticket, and he was like, I was about ready to rip my hair out. He's like, I can read Japanese, like I'm fluent in Japanese, like that's not the problem. The problem is like they don't know how to design websites. Yeah, they just build bad online things, like for whatever reason, like they're just stuck in this early 2000s like internet phase. And so maybe that plays into it. I mean, it's not an excuse, because
absolutely not.
Because
they had Xbox Live in 2002.
Like they should be able
2000s.
They should be able to figure it out. But for whatever reason, culturally, that is the thing there. Like everyone just says, like archaic
even
websites.
Chizo, he said, I'm just going to assume it's also to not have hate speed go through their channels. But the problem, I'm not letting Nintendo off on that either. Remember I don't know if you remember, I don't know if you remember, but they did this whole big YouTube animated short that they spent all this money on with Bowser and Bowser Jr.
Oh yeah.
And it was all about parental controls, and we do all this stuff for parental controls on your Switch to make it a safer experience. Okay, so do that for voice chat.
Yeah.
Do it to where they only have a white list of their friends. Do it to where if they're a child account, they can only speak to other child accounts. I don't know. Give the parent options, but let the parent make the decision. Yeah. And if I'm an adult, let the floodgates open, Modern Warfare 2 style, all right? But at least Nintendo can say, hey, we were thinking about your kids, so that you have all these granular controls in place. If you don't want to talk to anybody, shut it all the way down. So I can't let Nintendo slide on that one either. There's been so many advances in the way that, online chat works. Granted, I know it's not impenetrable. None of it is. But at least you have a good blueprint and starting ground. But they don't even want to, take the first step, which is kind of crazy considering we've had voice chat for over 20 years now.
Yeah, we've had it for a while.
Right.
Yeah, it's like, Nintendo, we don't need you to parent our children. We can handle that.
I can do that. Let me do that. Just give me the platform.
Yep. Oh man. One day, I we'll see when the Nintendo Switch 2 comes out and they don't have voice chat. Adrian's
even just Discord, please. Come on.
Oh, absolutely wild. All right. Well, I think that is it for the news stories this week. And now it is time for a Patreon ad. That is right. It is now time for me to tell you about our Patreon at patreon.com/SuperGamerBoys. You can head over there anytime you'd like right now after the show. And throw us $1. That's right, $1 gets you episodes early in ad-free, such as this show. Immediately after you hear the recording, I edit it, pump it out there to the interwebs, to all of our patrons. You can listen to it and watch the VOD from our live streams later. $5 and above. Oh, and you get access to Super Later Boys with that. That's right, the new exclusive show. $1. That's it. You can get Super Later Boys. You $5 a month. You get the show notes early and ad free, and you can see what we're going to be talking about. See all the listener questions. See the news stories. Leave your own questions, comments, concerns, answers to those listener questions. Whatever you'd like. If you want your thoughts on the air, if you're not here live, that's your way to do it. Sunday afternoons when I send those notes out, read them over, look them over, leave your own questions, comments, concerns, and we'll share them here on the show. $10 a month, you can get shout outs as a Super Gamer sponsor. Each and every episode at the top of the show, we shout out our list of names, and the sponsors are among those. And the top dog tier, you can be a Super Gamer producer, where not only do you get all those previous perks, but you can kind of help build the show with us. That's right, $15 a month, and we'll let you pitch a segment. And heck, I mean, lately the track record has been you eventually get the guest on the show. So yeah, if you want to have that interaction, kind of be part of the action, part of the show, pitching different cool segment ideas for us to possibly do, support us at $15 a month, and all of that helps incredibly with just helping support the show, whether it's buying games for us to talk about on the air or buying new equipment that we might need to keep the show running smoothly at the best quality we possibly can. So think about it. Patreon.com/SuperGamerBoys. Support us over there if you love what we do. You can also support us here at twitch.tv/TheSuperGamerBoys. If you're watching us here live currently, or later, even if you're not watching us, go check it out. Follow us over there. It's free to follow. We appreciate that. And it could be free to sub if you have an Amazon Prime account. You can link your Amazon Prime to your Twitch account and use your free Prime Gaming sub each and every month. You have to remember to re-up it each month. Otherwise, Jeff Bezos just takes it right back, sticks it in his pocket, and goes off and buys a coffee from Starbucks. So make sure you use that each and every month, and we'd appreciate if you used it here on our channel. Cost you $0, we get $5. Well, this sends $5 our way. Twitch takes a significant cut, but it helps nonetheless. we appreciate it very, very much. So think about it. Send that Prime Gaming sub our way, and we'd very much appreciate it. All right, that is it for the Patreon ad. Now, let's get back to this show. All right, Adrian, it's that time of the show where I need to ask you. Since it's been a couple weeks, I expect you to have an answer here. Adrian, what you playing?
Oh, good buddy. Do I have an answer for you? My time, pretty much about 90% of it, I think, my gaming time, I should say, has been taken by Final Fantasy 14.
Oh,
man. The game has got its hooks in me, brother. It is deep. I think the level cap is 90. I just started a little while ago and I just hit level 40. I've been playing that much. I've upgraded classes. I've taken down a couple of the icons. It's been a lot. That it's something else, man. I don't know what else to say. If anybody here
that good?
Dude, well, this is my first ever like MMO experience. So like,
okay.
I think over the past week or two, like the thing is over. There's this point where it's like, okay, I understand how this thing works, and like that area of my brain is like opening up to the idea of this is how MMOs function, right? So not only that, but and people say like this is the least of the story. But I'm having a good time. I mean, it's definitely a lot of fetch quests and a lot of running around. Go take this to this person and go. But when the main story hits, it's hitting pretty good. And if this is just like the icing on the cake, then I can't wait to see what the rest of it is. And I've been playing solo because yeah, I don't know why, but I don't know anybody else who's playing. That's why I was getting ready to say, if you're in the Discord or if you're anywhere and you're willing to go back to the beginning, hit me up. But yeah, man, that game's great. It's really good. It makes me sad that I never gave 11 a chance back in the day.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that was the other online one, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
But I had, like I said, I had heard about MMOs. I knew what they were, but it was always like, I don't know if I have the energy to commit to something like that. And here I am now, multiple dozens of hours later, almost halfway through the level cap. So
crazy. Chiso said level 40 is where the game starts. It's One Piece episode 600. I'm sure you understand that reference better than I do.
Yeah, I do.
Okay.
But I also would argue that One Piece is good from the jump. So
it is very good.
We shall see.
I'm only at episode like 90 or 91. It's very good. That's awesome. So that's been all of you. To be honest, I believe that's been all your time because every time I go on Discord, it just says Homeboy is playing Final Fantasy 14.
Oh, it shows?
Always. Like any time I've gotten on in the past 2 weeks, that's all it says. I'm like, oh, okay.
I'm sorry, man. I don't know what it's like a spell. Like I get why, like when you hear all those stories about the people in Korea in the internet cafes and they just they don't eat, they don't go anywhere, they just do it, they just play that game. I'm like, I can definitely understand how people get caught in that trap if you have like that addictive personality like that.
Yeah.
Because it just feels like I'm not kidding, dude. You're at the top of a mountain and there's just so many hundreds of hours of things that you could do, so many ways that you can. There's like little quest lines and little guilds that you can join that are like dozens of hours in themselves, apart from the other side quests and the main story that you could do. So it's very easy to get lost in the ocean of a game like this. I get MMOs now.
That's awesome. I've tried World of Warcraft, and I mean mainly that one. I had a few friends throughout the years who've tried to get me into it, and I just never struck me. Like I just could not get into it. For me though, but I mean, you guys now, I've been doing this podcast for 4, almost 5 years. Like you guys know my play style. Like I'm one to jump around a lot. So like an MMO that takes just so much focus and so much of your time, like just isn't my style. Like I don't know if I have ADHD, but I definitely play video games like I do. That's for sure. So I like that the idea of that like gives me anxiety just thinking about playing the same game for that long. And so like I'm glad you like it. I'm glad like there's people out there like those, but man, it's just wild to me. Chizo's wondering what your character is.
Oh, I am Here, I think the race is, and I'm a level 40 black mage. Okay. So I'm an attacking wizard, not a healing one. I'm not a glass cannon like a red mage, or at least I think if I know Final Fantasy classes of old, usually the red mage is the glass cannon. So okay. I'm just a tank. I'm a tank mage basically. Like I can chuck them attack spells out and I can take a good punch.
Dang. Chizo says he's also higher and he's a white mage.
Oh.
So is that more defensive spells or what is that?
That's okay. Defensive and magic and like defensive magic and cures. A lot of cure and healing.
Nice. So you guys should team up.
I'm not opposed, but he's probably like level 1,000,000. Could you imagine him going back to like the beginning levels? He'd be like, oh my God, I want to tear my eyes out.
I mean, he could just like, you just cheese your way through everything though. You'd just be like destroying things.
Right.
Being one shot and everything. You'd just be raking in the XP.
Well, that's the hard part, right? Because I don't want to get carried because then that makes the game boring.
He says he's 52, but the game has level sync.
Yeah, that it does. But like I said,
technically you could play together and it should work.
That's true.
But I mean, obviously though, like you're saying though, Adrian, is like he'd have to replay stuff he's already played. So
Right. That's the tough part.
that's awesome.
Sorry. One quick other thing.
Yes.
I have also been playing my Playdate.
Ooh.
There's a game that came out on the catalog recently called Gun Trails. It is a shoot 'em up, or shmup, if you want to call them that. It is arcade 1990s hard. There are no continues, and there are no health pickups. You have to beat the whole game in one run. It is infuriatingly hard.
It sounds horrible.
It's very well made. It looks great. It plays great. It runs great. It's so unforgivingly hard that I'm like, I don't think I'll ever be able to beat this game.
Yeah.
And so far that I've seen, the only people that have beaten it are the people that work on it. So I'm like, well, did you really beat it? Because you kind of know where everything is.
Jeez.
But hopefully, I don't know,
imagine.
maybe they'll do an update with some accessibility stuff in there, or slow it down, or give me an extra hit or health pickups. I don't care. Make it. I just want to see the end of the game. I can barely get past the first stage without dying.
And you start. How many lives do you start out with?
You get 4 hits.
Okay, throughout the entire game. That's
the entire game. That's all you get.
That's wild.
And it is tough as nails.
Man, yeah. At that point, it's just like memorization. Just keep doing it over
is.
and over and over again, and just like muscle memory. Flying through those levels.
I can't play it too long. I get too upset.
I get that.
Which is weird because
I
I've played tons and tons and tons of ultra hard games, but even then, those games sometimes give you a little bit of a break.
Right.
Like this one is like, no, you gotta do it this way. It's like, good grief.
Jeez.
But yeah, that's what I've been playing. What you been playing?
I have been playing a couple games. I'll start with the smaller one first here. So yeah, there's a couple of evenings I'm like, I just need something that I can just chill to. Something that's kind of using my brain while also mindless at the same time, if that makes sense. Like, it's just very much like, I just need to like relax, something peaceful, something chill. And that game is A Little to the Left. This is a game that we saw, I think, on the Wholesome Direct last year, and it came out earlier this year. I picked it up when it came out, and never touched it. I played the demo. So last year when they announced it, there was a demo. So I gave you like the first 5 or 6 levels, and I'm like, this game, awesome. Talk about ADHD and OCD and stuff like that. Everything having its place. That's this game. It's this organization, the game, but with like just such a really cool art style. It's like, I think a lot of it's like hand drawn, or at least like handcrafted. Like, I don't know. It has like a very like handmade aesthetic to it. And it's literally just like, all right, they just show like a bunch of books on a shelf, and they're all just scattered. And there's like 3 different ways you can orient these that solves a puzzle. So it's like, okay, tallest book to shortest book. All right, this one, lining the spines up with like the whatever the designs are, color coordinating the books, like stuff like that. And you can go through and just like 1 star each level, like what how a lot of games like, just solve it one way and you can go to the next level. But again, with my OCD, I'm like, no, I have to 3-star every level.
I need to know all the ways to solve it.
I need to solve it every single possible way. But man, it's just so much fun. It has like this really relaxing, chill music in the background. Like I said, the art style is great. It has this fun like little cat that pops up once in a while. So like you'll finish like organizing things, and this cat paw just comes out from the side of the screen, smacks all the pencils all over that you just organized and stuff like that. It's this really, really cute, really fun game that I highly recommend. It's on Steam. I've been playing on the Steam Deck. It might be Steam Deck verified. I can't remember. It works great on the Steam Deck. Whether it is or not, it works great on Steam Deck.
I bought it on Switch a long time ago. I just haven't got around to it.
Okay. Yeah. It's great. It's a fun handheld game because it's just like, chill in bed. Like, all right, I need to wind down 10 minutes before I go to bed. I'm going to play this game and just solve a couple puzzles and fall asleep. And it's great. So that's what I've been playing a little bit here and there. And then the big dog game is Baldur's Gate 3.
Go off, man. Go off. I know you've been waiting on this one.
I have never played a Baldur's Gate game, and to be completely honest, I don't think I cared about this game until last week. Like last week, I bought it after it came out. Like I didn't pre-order it, nothing. Like I was just like, again, like I wasn't interested in it, but it's mostly out of like ignorance. Like I just didn't understand. I've never played the game. And everyone kept saying like, "Oh, it's this awesome RPG," blah blah blah. And I heard a couple people reference D&D, but I was like, I don't know. I don't get it. Like, what is it really? Like, is it, or is it just like another RPG? What is this game? And it wasn't until I watched, who was it? Someone played. I don't know. There's 2 people I watched. I can't remember the first one, but the second stream I watched was the Kind of Funny stream. Where Snowbike Mike, Andy Nitro Rifle Cortez, and Roger Picorni jumped in there, and they did the whole character creator, which I was watching it, and I'm like, oh dude, like this is literally just, they just took a D&D character sheet and made it into a video game. Like all the spells are the same, the classes, the races, like everything. Like you customize your appearance and everything, all the different races. It's just really, it's so cool. Like, it's just like, okay, that's one point in its favor. Like, this is great. This is awesome. And then they fire up the game, and it 100% is. It's just like, especially when you're playing with friends. I haven't played with friends yet, but I'm like, oh, this is D&D, the video game. Like, you can do whatever you want. I mean, with railroading. So in D&D, they call it railroading when the DM's like kind of forces you down a certain story. So obviously, like, it's a video game still, so there has to be some railroading where they're just like,
yeah, I was gonna say,
this
it's a game.
This is where you're going, this is what you're doing. But within that area, you have so many options from like in the area I'm in right now, like I should be heading this way to do a mission, but I'm already like veered off, and it's not open world by any means. But I'm like, I'm gonna head this direction to this side of the map, and like I found like a secret lair, like some secret catacombs under a chapel somewhere, and I'm like fighting some bandits who were robbing the place or using it as like a fortress or something like that. I don't even know yet. I'm not to the end of it, but it's like found some bandits in some catacombs. I'm fighting them. Screw the main story. I'm over here. You get so many dialogue options, which are just awesome. And it's all based off of like just the character you made. Like you pick so if you have like high charisma or high whatever, strength, intelligence, dexterity, like there's all the different like normal RPG stats. Depending on how you laid those out, like you just get a bunch of different options. And even if you don't have high stats in an area, they still allow you to try it, and there's literally dice rolls. So like if you choose something like that, like all right, I'm gonna try to intimidate this person, use my intimidation skill, it'll bring up the little character sheet that has, okay, your character skill is a 5, or like a plus 2 or plus 3. You have plus 2 or plus 3. The check, you have to get at least a 12. So you roll a d20. Oh, I rolled a 9. I only have a plus 2. Shoot, I'm 1 short. You fail. So I think that's, and granted, a lot of these mechanics are in other RPGs, but you just don't see it. That's all hidden behind the video game. So I just love with this, like they're leaving heavily into the D&D lore. Not only that, like it's actually using lore from the D&D universe. Mm-hmm. But then also like the actual like, oh no, we're going to show you behind the curtain. Instead of it being a bunch of zeros and ones computation behind the video game, here's a dice rolling, and here's your stats, and here's our, and it's like, oh, this is so cool.
So it feels like, it literally feels like a D&D game come to life.
Exactly. Yeah. And it's so much fun. I would love to play it with some friends. You can play with like up to four of your buddy. Well, up to 3 buddies, four player total. And just get a party together. And that's what Kind of Funny was doing, is the 3 of them. And oh my gosh, it was so hilarious. Cause they were going all in too, where they were like actually role playing and doing their voices and stuff like that. Like, and chit chatting like on their way to the mission. Just so brilliant. So go check this game out. And if anyone out there is playing it, let me know, because I'd be down to play online with some buddies and give it a shot.
You did mention before we started that you were thinking about, maybe we might have some plans with this.
Yes. Yeah. We'll see. There might be
so don't play too much.
I mean, the thing is, there's just so much you can do and so many ways you can go about things. Like, it has high replayability. Like I've already seen a lot of people on streams rolling up new characters and just having completely different gameplay based off of the characters they make and decisions they make. David Tate, our friend over at Super Best Friend Video Game Sleepover Podcast, they rated us last week here on Twitch. He actually, right before we went live tonight, he's over there streaming currently Baldur's Gate, and he just rolled up a new character. And it's and what's cool is like when you stream online, you can have the audience vote on dialogue decisions and stuff. And so so he's actually like doing that right now, and it's like the gameplay is going completely different, completely sideways, to be honest, because it's all in charge, like because the chat's in charge of what you're doing. So it's like
so they're just trying to make it as chaotic as possible, of course.
Yeah, exactly. But I don't know. It's just so awesome. Like this game has, again, so much replayability because, depending on what you say and what you do and where you go and the order you do things, like it could change the outcome 20 hours in, I assume. So yeah, or even immediately, there's some things where it's like right away, you're like, oh shoot, like I needed that character as part of my party. I probably shouldn't have been a jerk when I talked to them because now they're not going to join my party, that type of thing.
Do you see yourself playing the campaign all the way to the end, the one you're on? Or do you think something might catch your attention, or are you pretty locked in?
At this point, I'm locked in. I've paused Persona 5 and Cyberpunk,
okay.
Playing some Baldur's Gate. I don't foresee anything taking my focus other than Armored Core is coming out this month. That was the game that was my August game. I was like, didn't care about Baldur's Gate and I was going for Armored Core. But then Baldur's Gate looked awesome and I picked it up and I'm like, oh, this game's actually really good. So we'll see. And I know Starfield's coming out soon and we have to play that or else, all the angry Xbox people are going to come burn down our YouTube channel.
See, they didn't even give Starfield a chance. See?
So yeah, I mean, there are a couple games that could steal my attention coming up, but this is a fun game where I could see being like, I don't know, already, because it's on Steam Deck as well. Like I've been playing on Steam Deck, by the way. I don't know if I mentioned that.
Mm-hmm.
Like I can just pick it up and play for like 20 minutes before bed. I don't get very far in true D&D fashion. You don't get very far, but that's par for the course, honestly. Like there's so many times you'll do a D&D session. I mean, we did Super Dungeon Boys. You'll play for 2 hours and we only move like one room over. That's it. So it's one of those things where like this video game is like, even if it takes a while, like that's just true, this is staying true to its roots kind of thing. So I'm not against it, so go check it out. And like I said, if anyone out there is playing Baldur's Gate, hit me up. Like I'm down to join up, party up with you and play some stuff. And yeah, stay tuned because there might be some stuff in the future with some Baldur's Gate stuff. We'll see. Some plans may or may not be in the works. But that is it. That's all I've been playing. So thank you all so much for listening and for watching. We appreciate each and every one of you, whether you're watching live at twitch.tv/thesupergamerboys or youtube.com/supergamerboys, or listening later on podcast apps like, all of them. Spotify, Apple Music, we're everywhere. You search for us, we should be there. We appreciate it. And if you love what we do and want to support us and help us keep making cool things and support the show, you can go over to patreon.com/supergamerboys. Throw us just $1. You get episodes early and ad-free, and Super Later Boys, a Patreon exclusive show. Episode 2 is up now with myself, Adrian, and JJ over there. It was a fun chat, fun catching up with JJ. It's been a little bit. So that's honestly what Super Later Boys might turn into, is just updates with JJ. Just checking in. It's been about 3 months. How you doing?
You're still alive.
Yeah. If you really love what we do as well and are looking for a more tangible way to support us, you're like, hey, I just want to get something out of this that's I can hold in my hand and drink out of or wear on my body. Go over to sgbstore.com and buy some t-shirts, buy some mugs, and again, help support the show that way and show your love publicly to the world of Super Gamer Boys. Shout out again to DJ Trues. Make sure to go check out his music. And he's also streams over at twitch.tv/trouserschnauzer. But links to his music will be in the show notes over on Apple Music and Spotify for you. Find us during the week at supergamerboys.com, Twitter and Instagram and Threads. Twitter, Instagram, and Threads at supergamerboys. And Twitter, Instagram, Threads. I'm over there at Morlang. Adrian, where can they find you at?
You can find me those same places at Homeboy.
There we go. All right. Well, that's all I got for us tonight. Adrian, do you mind taking us out?
Sure thing. Folks, as always, thank you for hanging out with us for another week. Thank you for just, I don't know, having a seat and listening to us chat. Or if you're in the car listening just on audio, we appreciate you there. And always, we appreciate everybody who supports us, especially our patrons. We cannot do this without you, even though we would. At the scale that we're at now, at the momentum that we're gaining, we're glad to have you on board, and we hope that you stay with us. But without further ado, I believe this is the end of the road here. And as always, we are the Super Gamer Boys.
And we'll catch you on the flippity flop.
Oh man. No voice chat. That's inexcusable. Unacceptable. Fix it, Nintendo. You gotta hear it. Go.
Fix it.